'em up, lay it down just like Matt Amari. Wrestling RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving the Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party. Moolah Ric Flair, huh? Showing out like Bianca Belair, huh? Best podcast, flushing in the air, huh? Roman Reigns and we win it, don't care, huh? No cap. Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt Amari. Wrestling RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving the Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Wrestling RHAPup podcast. I'm your host, Mari Ford, and with me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Mr. Matt Scott. Matt, how are you?
Mari, happy to be here with you and with our listeners. Welcome to the Wrestling RHAPup, everybody. And Mari, look, we're here. We're doing it. Could I just introduce our guest? I cannot wait.
Please, please.
All right. Ooh, it's been far too long because making her way to the podcast, hailing from Sydney, Australia, on unceded Gadigal land, she is the co-host of Crime Scene with the one and only Mari Forth. Check it out at RHAPiswebsite.com/crime feed. I got to get the plug-in for you all. She's a theater virtuoso, a connoisseur of the performing arts. Some know her as the Barb of RHAP. Some know her as Gilda Tintin Ventura. But she is best known by her actual name, Sarah Carradine.
I will end you. Hello, it's Gilda Tintin coming down and around and all of that thing. Yes.
Yes.
If there's one person I'm willing to nearly faint for, it's you, Sarah.
Wow, nice breath control.
Thank you.
Yes, it's midnight 30 here. It's 0 dark 30. But that your theme song is Crime Scene's theme music is fantastic.
It is.
Your theme song is like the non plus ultra of theme songs. I love it. And I was having a bit of a groove, and now I've woken up. Talk about wrestling. I don't know why I've got punching fists when we're talking about wrestling. There was a lot more punching than I'm used to seeing on my wrestling. So I'd like you to explain that. A lot more punching, and I was disturbed.
My bad. My bad.
No.
It's fine. I just didn't know they were allowed to.
I love this idea that somehow we've mostly avoided punching in the wrestling that you've been exposed to.
Yes, you have.
I love that.
Yes, we normally, because now that she mentions it, I remember like a lot of the stuff we gave her, especially the first time she came on, was more storyline driven.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah, there's only a few like story things going on here today. It's mostly just people being like, it's on site.
It was on site, right, left, and center. But so strange that I knew names, I knew faces, I knew people, and I was so good to finally meet that wonderful man, Ron Darousey. I told Mari the other day, I kept hearing this name, Ron Darousey. I thought, I wonder who Ron is. On various other podcasts talking about various other things. And I finally figured out that it is a woman called Rhonda, but I was very happy to meet her.
I'm laughing way too much at this. I just love the idea that there are people, maybe there are definitely people out there who are like, who's this Ron Darousey?
Ron Darousey.
What a last name, Darousey.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Ooh, I like it.
When Sarah told me that, I love that. I was like, I love that because she's right. She's like, nobody just calls her Rhonda. It's always Ron Darousey.
Ron Darousey. Ron Darousey. Yes.
Ron Darousey. Oh my god.
Maybe Ron Darousey could form a tag team with Deshaun Williams.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That is a crime scene. It was
a crime. It was a crime. It was a microaggression when I couldn't think of Marshawn Lynch's name, and I called him Deshaun Williams. But the two people on the podcast knew who I was talking about, so that all worked.
Yeah. And in fairness, we were literally talking about Ricky Williams like 2 seconds before that.
Yeah, no, I'm supposed to be a professional.
A Big Brother fame, you mean?
Yes, a Big Brother fame.
Yes.
The only thing I really truly know him from.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, we are here to talk about all of the punching and all of the wrestling.
Ron
Such great clips. I was so happy with them. But I wonder if, I mean, they are a couple of the matches even I could see were good and some not so good. But I wonder too, is I have more investment now because I know who the people are. I know some of the storylines. I could go yay and boo, and I literally was going, oh, whoa, all alone in my room watching the clips. Actually getting a reaction. So you might make me a wrestling fan after all.
I love that. Is
that, just out of curiosity, is that your reaction specifically for wrestling, or do you react like that for true crime also?
No, not true crime. Violence brings it out in me.
There's no violence on the crime scene.
So he got you there.
So true.
Sarah reacts to like punching and hitting the way I react to watching people kiss on dating shows. I'm like, I
put my hand up. I do. I put my hand up to the kissing.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on the punches. The punches. The thing that I love about wrestling and punches, just to touch on that, is like you get the wide range. Like you could search on YouTube best wrestling punches, and you'll get like some really cartoonish, like put them up kind of punches, or you'll get like the more brutal ones. So look, I'm just saying,
Roman Reigns.
Yeah. I mean, I love there was a spectacular clothesline which I enjoyed very much.
Yes.
They're talking about cartoons. There was a man in a corner at one point who ran his legs for a couple of seconds, like in place, like a cartoon character before it takes off with the thing. And one very good wrestler in a very good match who threw his head back, reacting to a punch that had not been thrown, which I liked very much as well. Oh, it was so good to see the pure reaction right there without the action to cause it. But you know,
were really tapped in.
I love that.
I watched it. I don't know. I don't know if other wrestling fans watch it the way I do, but I watch it in a very particular way. And as you know, I'm always listening to the commentators because I adore them. They gave me a lot, and they gave me a lot this week.
Yes. Oh, I love that for us. So let's get into it because we want to hear all of Sarah's takes.
We
kind
do.
of so
that's most of what this podcast will be, by the way. I'm just sitting back.
Sarah's hot.
I'm ready for it.
No, I don't know what I'm talking about, everybody. That's the big secret. No, not much of a secret now.
Not much news this week, so we'll just skip that section so we can get to all of the good stuff. But please remember, we have a podcast feed. If you haven't already, please go subscribe to robhasawebsite.com/wrestling feed. We would really appreciate it. Also, if you want some more really great reality TV content, you can also subscribe to the Rob Has a Website reality TV RHAPups feed by going to robhasawebsite.com/RHAPups feed. That's RHAPUPS feed, and you can get all this wonderful, really weird reality TV content. We did have a new review. We're gonna read the review real quick, and then we're gonna go straight into the highlights of the week. Yeah. So this review is titled "Love the Pod" by Gina Boo.
Shout out to Gina Boo.
Yes.
Hey, Gina Boo.
Yeah.
Loyal RHAP listener. I could listen to Matt and Mari talk about pretty much anything. Love
not Matt and Mari, by the way. Mari and Matt is always the right way to say it.
Matt, it's
in your theme song. In your theme song, it says Matt and Mari.
Matt and Mari. I take no offense.
I do.
I take no offense. I know who truly runs the show, so it doesn't matter whose name comes first.
I do too, and that's why it matters.
Yeah.
It's the guilt.
But yes, thank you so much. And of course, if you can, please rate, review, and subscribe. It helps other people find us. Again, that's so important. Wherever you listen to your podcast, definitely leave us some 5-star
only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Yeah.
All right. So we are going to take a quick ad break and we'll be back with the highlights of the week. All right. We are back with the highlights of the week. Remember, all of the highlights of the week can be seen in a little handy dandy playlist, either in your show notes or your show descriptions. If you haven't already, what are you doing? Go look at our beautiful, wonderful, awesome faces on the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube page. You can go to Rob Has a Podcast, search Wrestling RHAPup, and you can see all of our faces and all of the really cool pictures that we bring up. That really helps, especially if you don't know what's going on. Come and watch us on YouTube. It's so much fun. Leave your comments in YouTube. We'll read them there as well. Let's get into it. Last week, we touched on the men's Money in the Bank match because they had all of the competitors, so we thought. This week, we finally got all of the women's participants in the Money in the Bank match, and I am very excited. So we have Io Sky, Zoe Stark, Bailey, Queen Zelina. Okay, no, she's not Queen anymore. Zelina Vega. The man, Becky Lynch, and of course, the GOAT, the icon, Trish Stratus, won her match against Raquel Rodriguez this week to officially be entered in the Money in the Bank match. I cannot be more excited for this match. Sarah, what were your thoughts when you saw some of these qualifying matches, and your thoughts on any characters? What you pick up? Who are you rooting for just from what we've shown you?
Oh, well, I mean, one of the thoughts on the qualifying matches, I was surprised, not to be mean, I don't want to come out of the gates mean, although Zoe was called mean by the commentators, so maybe I could align myself with Zoe there. I could be mean. I thought the quality varied quite wildly, in my very uneducated opinion. Because the exciting matches were so exciting and so athletic and so, I considered it slightly the wrong word, but just there, two artists performing at the absolute top of their game, and the audience knowing them and understanding them and feeling them, as it were. And that's sort of at the top. And then there was one particularly very by the numbers lackluster one with a couple of fluid moves in it that
which one
contrasted with it. Becky Lynch and Chelsea Green, I thought were, they were like, it's fine. What I took from that match was that I want the Thank You Trish t-shirt. Thank you very much. Whereas the storytelling in the first clip that you sent, Natalya versus Zoe, was a very exciting match. The story of the hurt knee, that's Trish outside the ring giving instructions to her mentee, the relationship between the two of them, the danger to the hair extensions at one point. Watch out, those hair extensions, they're really expensive. I wrote titty kick, is that legal? I mean, I'm assuming it is. So it was, I thought, a really thrilling match, immediately followed by Becky Lynch and Chelsea Green, which was like, 1, 2, I hold you there. Now you go here. Now I go here. Now I wait for a really long time while you get yourself organized, and then I react, later. It is, we all know what wrestling is, but there's an artistry to it when it's done at the absolute, top of the game, which is what you normally send me. I'm really thrilled. Am I wrong? Am I outside the ring here?
No, that match is basically, I'm looking at the list here. That match is the match where it's like a gimme. Like Becky Lynch. Yeah, Becky Lynch is the star of the match. She's the one who had more storyline going into it. And Chelsea Green was basically there to do the job. But do it entertaining wise. So she did. Look, she did, and she looked good. And it was the whole idea of, she appears to be the one with the upper hand for most of it. I suppose the nice thing was Zoe standing by a ladder looking cross at one point. So I love all the outside the ring, storytelling that goes on. And one of my favorites is Rhea, and one of the things I remembered about her watching her again is the mobility of her face, like how
She telegraphs a story and emotions at every moment, and even if it's slightly overdone, it feels very real. And the other one that can do that is this Zoe here. So yeah, I like that very much.
Yeah. I like that. Some things we got to talk about here. So dear gentle reader, let me take from Sarah's we talked about last week how Bayley and Shotzi were supposed to have a match in order to see if Shotzi would take Bayley's spot. I talked about it last week.
Last night.
Yeah. We talked about it last week, but it was supposed to happen last night.
Right, exactly.
On SmackDown. Yes. I talked about it last week that I didn't like that. I didn't like it because one, I didn't want Shotzi taking Bayley's spot. And two, I was so confused because at that point there was still an open spot left. Of course, we find out like almost last minute. Maybe I think we found out after we had logged off that it was
literally.
Trish
tweeted or Trish posted on Instagram and like an hour after we stopped recording.
Yeah,
Trish, come on.
Right?
No, thank you. No, thank you, Trish.
That it was going to be Trish and Raquel for that last spot. Unfortunately, last night I watched all of SmackDown like I am wont to do.
Yes.
And it honestly wasn't until I went online, I think earlier this morning or something like that, I was like, wait a minute. There was supposed to be a Bayley and Shotzi match. Bayley and Shotzi got cut at the last minute, so that match didn't happen. And I'm glad that Bayley keeps her spot. I'm glad that this isn't another unnecessary loss for Shotzi. But honestly, I don't think that's fair to those women because they were there. They had to fly from wherever they were, like off their break, to come to the show and be told an hour before because they were still promoting it.
Exactly.
Up until the last second, and then they got cut. And then it didn't even make sense that they got cut because the main event started 30 minutes in, and it was not a 30-minute match. So I feel so bad for them. I hate that this always seems to happen to the women. It's happened to Bayley a lot now, and rumors are that Vince is, he's been back, unfortunately. And as much as they're trying to say that he's not controlling creative, there have been rumors that Vince is the one who did, call some of these shots. So
he'll literally call. Like, he'll literally call. I don't think, from the reports I've seen, he hasn't been backstage, but he has been on the phone a lot, changing things in the last several... really since WrestleMania, I think. The day after WrestleMania, we talked about this, Mari. There were a ton of changes to the show, and he was actually backstage. But what's been coming up more, especially in the last, I'd say, month and a half, has been just changes made to the show, women's matches and segments being cut in particular, which is frustrating that still happens, and it's 2023. And I thought they recognized that there was a fan base for the women, and it's just sad.
Yeah. So that sucks. That truly sucks. I was so happy when we got rid of the sexual predator, but he came right back, and it's very, very annoying. So we shall see. Matt, anything from you about your favorite part of?
Let me just say, my favorite part. We've touched on so much of this, but like my favorite person, my favorite wrestler in all of this is the one and only, the Canadian cowgirl herself, Trish Stratus, who is just she's phenomenal. So good. Like, that was such a great match for Raquel.
It was.
There was actually a crowd reaction. Trish just ragdolling herself around, and
that was the most hilarious thing.
Good. And it's
rewound it.
I've watched that so many times now at this point, where I'm like, oh my gosh, just like, and you know what? It's hilarious because like that's what Raquel needs to really get her over, and Trish knew what to do. And then I think Sarah, you referenced that clothesline that, you know, it's a typical spot with Raquel where she misses the one and goes back for the other, and Trish just laid out like she was just shot and knocked out. So
Trish was
I love
selling.
this
I love
match. I just love this match.
It's
And
fun.
I love that it was the end of the little runner about the magazine shoot. You know, she'd been at a magazine shoot yesterday, and then the commentators had the magazine with them this evening. I mean, it was just, I loved all that. I wrote, Trish looks like a housewife with a capital H, of course. And that is not a critique. That is admiration. Because, I mean, there's a look amongst the women wrestlers, but I love one that stands out. And I felt she really stood out with this look that was, I mean, if you took all the elements, you'd go, yes, they've all got hair extensions. Yes, they've all got, allegedly, filler, whatever, tight-fitting clothes. But there's something, her style was like so pleasing. And I thought she and Raquel worked together really well. I felt like he were two real colleagues, just completely trusting each other. And they flew. They can fly when they trust each other. They can fly when, you know, Trish allows herself to be. I'm doing, for those not watching the video, I'm demonstrating. But I mean, the floppy ragdoll was absolutely
hilarious.
Brilliant.
So great.
There was another runner that went through all the clips, which was a little strange, but there was a bit of hanky code going on. I thought, do these people?
Where?
You mean like Finn Balor? But that's a whole other thing. With his
three or four of them in particular, but Michin had a S&M bottom hanky coat. She had a black hanky in her right back pocket. I thought, have you?
What does that stand for?
That's a different cultural.
Yes.
Yeah.
It amused me because I knew it wasn't to do with that hanky coat.
Yeah.
No. I think that you're on to something.
Because I noted the other ones that came up. There was a white right hand back pocket, and there was a right purple back pocket, and we can talk about those when they come through. But yes, I enjoyed Minchin with her blue hair, don't care, and her S&M bottom hanky coat. That it was fantastic. And I wrote, she flies, she's powerful. So, and it's also like when the person who doesn't win is given, you know, the opportunity and the space to show their artistry and their athleticism and their fantasticness. I love that, and it makes for a better match. It makes the winner look better if they defeated someone who's really good.
I completely agree, but with that match, the hilarious part to me with Michin versus Bayley is that AJ Styles, Michin's stablemate, you know, one of Michin's partners in the OC. AJ did, like, they kept throwing it over to him, and we're like, what do you think? What gaps does Michin fill in the OC? Like, why is she so great? And he'd had the most underwhelming things to say. And I'm like, I hope that he likes her at all as a performer, but he just did not have much to add. So I could have done without him on commentary distracting. I think it seemed like it was leading to a story with Karrion Kross and Scarlett. So maybe we're going to see Michin and AJ and and all that stuff.
They've had a few matches that I don't.
No, we're not talking about that.
Yeah,
I just want people to know. We know.
Yeah, we know. Exactly. I just have to say that the way that my final thoughts on this, the way that the Trish Stratus and Raquel match finished, I thought was brilliant because I was like, I want Trish in this match. I do not want Raquel in this match. I hate to say it, but Raquel and even Shotzi were the worst parts of the women's Money in the Bank ladder match last year. We said it, Matt. We said it. And
I know, I'm just like thinking back to it. It's jarring.
It was jarring how bad they were in that match. And that's why again, I was like, okay, please don't replace Shotzi with Bayley. Again, still, they're both good performers. It was just I'm pretty sure for both of them, those were their first like Money in the Bank ladder matches. I don't think it was their first ladder matches, period. But like, it's a totally different thing when you have 7 people having to hit certain spots all the time. And it made me think of like Michin versus Bailey. Like if anybody deserved a second shot, I would have hoped that it would have been Michin, because I was really, I really was upset when she didn't get a spot either. I say all that to say, I think that the Trish and Raquel match was perfect, because Becky, it's built up through the clips. Becky has an ongoing feud with Trish and Zoe, and Becky comes out to try and even the field to get Zoe out of the way for Raquel, but ends up getting too mad and puts her hands on Trish. Like when it was happening, Matt, tell me when it was happening, I was like, okay, she's beating up Zoe. Then Trish came over there. I was like, Becky, don't do it, because Sarah, an unwritten rule is if a performer who is in the ring, who is in the match, can put their hands on the person who comes from the outside, like they can throw hands on them as much as possible and won't get disqualified. But the moment that the person outside of the match puts a hand on the other person, it's a disqualification.
DQ, I loved this. I thought, what a fantastic, and Raquel's so imposing, and I mean those muscles and that body, and I mean she looks incredible, and she's standing in the middle of the ring almost in a victorious position, you know, in the middle of the ring with her shoulders back and her chin up, and it's like, well, no, you just got disqualified. Boo.
Yes.
And it was fantastic storytelling.
It started how it normally does. I was like, okay, Trish came out there, she was hitting Becky, and I thought she was just gonna throw Becky out the way, and then Becky hits Trish. I was like, no, Becky. And as soon as she did it, DQ, winner by disqualification, Trish Stratus. And because Trish Stratus is the winner due to disqualification, she got the spot. And I was like, wow, that was smart. Like that was smart. It helped Raquel not take a official loss. It gets Trish in the match. It even makes Becky, like Becky was like, I'm sorry, I was crazy.
So now they've got beef. It sets up a story where I mean, as we hear from the tag team girls later, we never lost the belt. The belt is ours. The belt that we never lost. So Raquel now has this story of, I didn't lose that match. I didn't lose that match. She didn't, you know, which I love. And one thing I've come to notice, I particularly noticed it this time, but I guess it's been a dawning noticing over the last few times I've been here, is one of the hallmarks of WWE storytelling is repetition. And that is just bringing the audience along with them. It's like the wrestlers understand that the audience wants to be brought along, so they use that repetition, which you would think, oh, maybe it's a bit redundant, but it's actually not. So that when you hear over and over again, the championship we never lost, the championship we never lost, the championship we never lost, you go, wow, obsessed, stakes are high. How does it feel to hear that when you're the one holding the belt? Like I love that. And so thinking back now, it's Raquel could say, the match I never lost, you didn't beat me, but I'm in the ladder match. So I love that part of it.
You know what? It's so this is one of the many reasons that I'm always just so thrilled when you're on the podcast, Sarah, whether or not I'm here, because it's just like you point that out with the repetition, and I'm going to be thinking about that for a while. There are so many, I think so many examples where we don't, I think WWE is really big at hitting home a point. Like if you have a question, like who's this on my screen, they'll answer it within 5 seconds. They're always letting you know someone's relationship with all the other characters multiple times in a show, if not every single week. And I think a lot of other art forms have potentially something to learn from that not so subtle repetition.
The clarity. And also we get a you never have to wonder, does that person like that person? Oh no. But there's a big turn coming up, which I was very excited, and I know we'll get to. And if I say they're not very good actors, they are brilliant wrestlers. But the clarity of the turn of the relationship, we'll get to it. But I was stunned. I thought, this is next level. This is fantastic.
We'll get there.
We will get there.
So let's move on. Like I said, last week we thought the men's Money in the Bank ladder match was set, but apparently not, because
I do not like this man. That's my
Exactly.
Who does? And that's the point. I'll zoom in on him for the video viewers just to really give you the.
I'm jumping in, but no,
effect.
there are wrestlers I love to dislike.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with this man, which Mary will tell us all about. The problem with this man, it is not enjoyable to dislike him. There's no enjoyment out of disliking him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Logan Paul is back. And he's like, guess what? I made a call to the executives and now I'm in the match. And I was like, oh,
I like
not
that
surprised.
Not for us.
Yeah. So I'm of two minds. We were talking about last week that was like, okay, so we're looking at the field. People are saying like, there's not that many big stars in this match. You know, maybe they're gonna go for the secondary title. Now that Logan's been added to this match, I would be surprised if he doesn't win it.
Oh my gosh.
I would. We'll talk more about that in our predictions. But I'm not gonna lie, this kind of did get me excited for the match. Because not just him, but like Ricochet coming out and being like, you know, I made you famous. That was great.
Person coming out was so funny.
Yes,
I loved this rolling bit. Oh, it was brilliant.
Yeah, it happens every time. It's like when the one person comes out and another, you just know it's gonna happen. So, again, we have the picture up. So we have Logan Paul, Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, LA Knight, Santos Escobar. I always have to think because it's two last names, y'all. It's two last names. Butch and Damian Priest. Did Damian Priest come out? I don't even remember him coming out.
No, he didn't.
No.
That's what I thought. Okay, yeah, because he did something with the Judgment Day earlier in the night. So I thought this was great. I thought Ricochet coming out first, he got a really good pop. Great. Shinsuke. I love Shinsuke. So glad that they gave him the mic. I was like, yes, Shinsuke. And then LA Knight comes out and
I thought it was La Knight. There's no dots. I thought it was La Knight. On the back of his jacket, it says La Knight, and I thought, oh, that's a the feminine the and then Knight is La Knight. No, LA Knight. Yes.
But honestly, La Knight, like I get a little hot under the collar with that.
Like,
yeah, it's
La Knight.
LA Knight comes out.
He needs a full stop between the L and the A. Anyway, sorry. Please do go.
He runs down everybody in the ring, which is very funny. The crowd is fully behind him. So I think what made me more interested in this match was being able to see the crowd reactions to everybody. And like, I think like a lot of people had some really, really good reactions. I think the only person who didn't really have a huge reaction is again Santos Escobar because, you know, he's one of the newer acts to the main roster. He's currently like the leader of the LWO, but he's still like finding his face momentum and feet. I think
he's got that Versace jacket.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I think him being in this ladder match, he's going to add a lot to this match. And I think a lot of people are going to come away respecting him. So I think this is the perfect field for a Money in the Bank ladder match. We have at least 3 high flyers in Ricochet, Santos Escobar, and Logan Paul here now. Logan Paul is not afraid to jump off some high shit. So we have 3 high flyers. We have 2 big bases in Damian Priest and Shinsuke Nakamura. And then we have who am I missing? Butch, who is really just there to beat people up. Like, honestly, like Butch
somebody
came
has
out.
to.
Yeah, Butch came out. The commentary is like, Butch doesn't have a microphone. It's like he doesn't need to because he just runs up to Logan Paul and punches him in the face.
And the whole time,
so good.
Logan Paul's like, "What else do you have to say? What are you going to say?
Who are you? What
are you going to add to the conversation?" It was a few
some
harsh
biffo. Yeah, some biffo is what they had. The Brawling Brutes, 2 on 1. Loved it. Yes.
Yeah, telegraph that. Perfect for his
I think this is going to be a great match. Honestly, I think I think the spots are going to be good. I think the mix of people is going to be good. I'm in it. I'm like both of the Money in the Bank is such one of those pay-per-views that or PLEs that is just so exciting, and you know there's so much high stakes going into it. So Yeah, I'm definitely excited.
Yeah, I am too. And I just to comment on the Logan Paul thing.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge addition in not in terms of his star power and all that, but like he is so good every time that he wrestles. And maybe this is only his 6th match, maybe Mari. 5th match.
Remember.
It's only he's only wrestled a handful of matches, but he does always deliver, and I appreciate how he takes it seriously. And so that's the thing for me where he's not likable in any way, but I do appreciate as a performer that he takes it seriously. You know, because
well, maybe I need to see him in action then.
Oh no, you don't. I mean, you can, but you also don't. You know, he's not a likable person at all. But I just think that as a performer, like we have seen celebrities on that show over the years who are like laughing, not taking it seriously, making a joke out of paycheck. They're not selling the show, and Logan Paul is selling the show and not afraid to.
Exactly. So, all right, let's move on to the Bloodline Civil War.
I understood it. I understood what was going on. Something happened.
Sarah, I'm so curious for you to speak to this because we have Mari and I have like touched on this a little bit. It was a little bit of touch up. Well, we've touched on it. We've touched on the Civil War. Well, the Civil War is pretty much it's pretty new.
One of 2 civil wars going on in the world at the moment, and perhaps the most important one, the Bloodline.
I would happen to agree. I'm curious from your perspective, Sarah, because Mari and I are not about the repetition like WWE. Actually, we do repeat ourselves fairly often, taking a note from WWE. But what was it that jumped out to you from what you saw with the Bloodline Civil War?
Well, I think that even though they were loud, they weren't screaming at each other, which is great. It was quite measured. I'm sure there wasn't exactly a script, but they knew the beats that they had to get through. The language was so overblown, and I loved it. It was sort of biblical and epic. You know, one must come, but wait, your time will be nigh, and until this moment, then this, then that. I loved all that. And the clarity of, you know, the problem isn't you, the problem is your brother. Dun, dun, dun. And then you must choose. So you say, okay, he's out. Pause. And I'm out too. Twist! I didn't see it coming. I didn't know anything about it. I was like, oh my God, this is fantastic. Because I thought, oh no, it's brother against brother. And I know sort of later with Dominic, there's that whole, I remember him being stolen from his father. So there's been that idea of breaking apart families. But the clarity of the storytelling was, you know, some contemporary playwrights and filmmakers could take a bit of a note of that particular, like, so there's sort of a few dialogue scenes that you sent us, and they're effective to a greater or lesser extent. I would say this was incredibly effective because even I, who only know a tiny bit about the Bloodline, but you know, I know enough to kind of recognize who the people were. I loved it. And what you give yourself as a creator, as a person writing the storylines, and I'm assuming that the performers, that the wrestlers are involved somewhat in where the storylines go. This gives so much. There's so much richness here. Brother, I stayed with you, but also because of you, I had to leave the Bloodline, but also betrayal, but also, you know, quasi father son, and the one who was outside and the one who was chosen. It's like, oh, it's Shakespearean.
Yeah, and I think that is mostly because the performers have had a big part in this storytelling. The Bloodline, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, they effectively basically write their own scripts, and as you said, or not write their own scripts. They just kind of come off the cuff and hit the beat. It's great. And again, another thing where an hour after we logged off, they announced the Bloodline Civil War match at Money in the Bank would be Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa versus the Usos, which is like Solo. I I was actually like screaming at the end of SmackDown. I was like, no, that's your brother. Like the Usos were beating up Solo, and I get it, but I was like, but that's your baby brother.
But that's how wonderful. That's the juice of it. That's the complexity of it. You know, and also they're all very good. And like all these, most of the people that we're talking about are like extremely good at what they do physically.
Yes,
so
much juice to it. And
so much
juicy oosies.
Juicy oosies, exactly. So
and then we get the cute little, you know, photos of when they were young.
Oh no!
Is it actually them? I don't know if it's actually them.
It's totally. I'm sure.
Oh, it's definitely them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was very sweet. Here they are,
a full-blown family here. Yeah,
fantastic. So family is supposed to lift each other up. So it's a bit fast and furious there. Respect. We were disrespected. You know, this whole machismo or performed machismo. You know, because they actually, you know, again flipping backwards and forwards. They must respect each other to get into a ring and do this work together. Yeah.
It's so funny because my family is visiting it when we were watching. Of course, I made them watch last night. My dad and my brother, and my dad was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "They're related. They're all related, and then that's their cousin, and they're all related to The Rock. That's all you need.
Yes, that's all you need to know.
Related to The Rock." And my dad,
and then that wonderful button. The button is "Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary." Oh yes.
Which is crazy because it made me realize that we hadn't heard that in forever, right, Matt? Like, the Usos used to be like, "We the one," you know, that was their ending. Like, it's like, you know, I was like, oh my God, I forgot that they completely dropped the Usos Penitentiary when they joined the Bloodline.
They've been putting up the ones too, like multiple times on SmackDown. So they're evolving back to the thing. They're wearing the "We the One" shirt. Like they are. I think that the beautiful thing is that the Usos had such a solid foundation going into the Bloodline storyline that, you know, obviously this storyline has built them up, but it's easy to forget that they stand on their own so effectively. And so
exactly. And it's hard to think. That's why I hate when people boil this down to like, oh, they're only getting this spot because they're semi-related to The Rock, when it's like, no, do y'all not remember 12 years ago when they were, you know, Uso crazy and they were good guys and they had all these bright colors and they had the stuff and they did the haka dance, and it was like they were good, but then they kind of plateaued where people stopped caring, you know. And then they gave us the day one-ish heel turn, and it was like they did that. That was 7 years ago that we got the day one heel turn. Like that was in 2016.
Mari,
and
I'm just gonna put this out there. The Usos arguably in the ring better than The Rock. Arguably.
Yeah. I mean, The
Rock.
Rock.
Hard. It's apples and oranges, but at the same time, like better than
The Rock wasn't known for his
record. No,
wrestling.
He hasn't been like a full-time active competitor in 20 plus years.
Wow. Oh, yeah, no, I just think that like the Usos, the evolution of the Usos is just so ridiculous when you think about it. Like ridiculous in a good way. Like they have really just changed modern tag team wrestling, and if you don't believe that, then you're just a hater, to be quite honest.
Well, the commentator said they're the best tag team in the world.
Yeah. So
and no one can only believe them, because why would they lie? I mean, they're not part of the show, are they? Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. All right, let's take a quick ad break and we will be back to talk about the Judgment Day. All right, we're back and we're here to talk about Sarah's faves.
They are my faves. They are my faves.
So the Judgment Day, they had to have their little they had to have their moment. It's kind of like when I'm putting these highlights together in this list, it's so hard because we've been talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks now. Judgment Day is all over the place, like all over the show in a good way. And so I'm like, oh, they're here, but do I put this one here, or I had to put them at the top here for this this fiery promo from all four of them, reminding everybody like we are like here. I need them. These promos are so good. I just want them to have a few more wins under their belt, like especially the men, and it's gonna be hard for them. Sarah, what did you think about this promo from the Judgment Day?
Well, of course, I noticed the hanky code from Finn.
Oh no.
He likes white tops. So there you go. I'll leave that with you.
Okay.
And then I wrote, can that be right? I mean, listeners, you know I'm being facetious. I'm supporting a different, you know.
That is
and in case you would like, you dear listener would like to advertise, that's what you'd like, just pop a white hanky in your right back pocket. I love Judgment Day. Here's Rhea, who is fantastic. Her hanky code tells us that she is a piercee in a piercer-piercee pairing. Yeah,
she's
what? A piercee, one who is pierced.
Oh,
one who is
that's what her hankies say
piercee.
Yeah, she pierced. Okay. Yeah, you know.
Wait, that's what her hanky code says.
That she likes piercings.
No,
but
she
that's
likes
also but she does.
Pierced.
To be.
Yeah. That's why. Because by the time, but when Finn had I thought, oh no, I'm just importing something that doesn't mean anything to them. But I thought, Rhea, this is very interesting. She had a purple hanky in her right back pocket. If it's the left pocket, anyway. Yeah.
I think, okay, wait, side note, I do think that there's something to this, Sarah, and I'm glad you pointed it out. And Mari's rolling her eyes and sighing.
Because I like
these are not innocent people.
Funny. I like this to be funny, not over
analytical.
We don't need a think piece on the hanky code.
Oh no, but I just want to establish that Sarah Carradine is the very first person who pointed it out, and one day we need to have Rhea and everyone on the podcast to ask.
They know they've got fans for whom this will mean something.
Yes,
this is a little wink. I don't think it's serious. I think it's fun. I mean, the fact that the hankies match the outfits, you know, obviously. But
not me on Wikipedia right now. Just
yeah, I know. What's the
careful.
Mari? Yeah, educate.
Careful, Mari. Careful.
I know. That's why I said I was like, I need to be careful on which one of these links I clicked. I was like, let me just go to the safe Wikipedia.
Of course, because Wikipedia knows everything. Listen, you know, my coming up was the 80s in you know, Sydney, one of the gay capitals of the world, on the Golden Mile there at Oxford Street. So this is all just so much in my my youth. But enough of that.
I love it.
I love Judgment Day, and this is what I mean about, if you are to dislike a wrestler, you must enjoy disliking them. You must relish your dislike. You must enjoy your dislike. The crowd not letting Dom speak is so delicious. I mean, for a start, it's freaking hilarious. It's the funniest thing all night. Yeah. And it's this call and response. It's almost like let the church say amen. It's this call and response between the performers and the fans, without whom there is no show. And every time Dom lifts his and look at Rhea there, look at mommy.
It's like she had to support him. It's like, it's okay.
It's okay. Speak up. And he said, I'm trying. I love it. And also I need her t-shirt which says you wish you were us. I need that t-shirt as well. But this, and the fact that it wasn't once, it wasn't twice, it wasn't 3 times, it was like 4 or 5 times. And the investment of the crowd and the enjoyment of the crowd and their understanding that they were being respected enough and given a role. They were given a role in this entertainment, like a really vital role. Yes, they are the viewers, but they are also the engine, in a way, for the performers. And this call and response, this playfulness between, and it's almost like no one's telling them, because there's several hundred people there. I don't know, 1,000 people. I never know how big crowds are. Right. No one told them when it was time to back off and when it was time to let Dom actually speak. But they all knew. They all knew when it was, okay, we still keep up the booing, but we've got to be able to hear him speak. I loved this. I loved this. And I loved how self-important Judgment Day are. I love everything about them. But that's just me.
It's good. I mean, it's good. They all have except for Rhea, unfortunately. At least as of right now, they all have a match at Money in the Bank, except for Rhea.
Oh,
yeah.
Champ.
Sorry, Rhea.
Let's see.
Oh, did I? I don't know how to say it.
Oh, I don't know.
No, it is. It's Rhea, but I always say
right.
Rhea because
okay,
I like soft vowels. So
fun fact.
Sorry, was that soft was that vowels with a V?
Yeah.
Oh no. Not the red hanky code. So
Get off of Wikipedia.
I am.
Shut down that browser.
You're in timeout.
Oh my god.
yeah, go to the corner.
So I love this. The one thing we did get the match with Rhea and Natalya like later that night, of course, in the clip it's all together. Rhea just absolutely shows her dominance over Natalya. Natalya's little promo beforehand was kind of feeling like it was hinting towards Matt. Am I correct here? Yeah, right.
It did feel like that, but you know, I also feel like Natalya, for me, she's I mean, she's Canadian, but she's the epitome of the American dream, just getting her hopes so high and so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed after, 15 years as maybe 8. How long has she been in WWE? Since like for the last 18 years?
Long.
My God, her career is a full-blown adult at this point.
Yeah, it's been a very, very long time.
But she just always gets beaten down, and every time she just keeps showing
at least
up.
12 years. At the very least 12 years.
More than that. I love that. I love this for her. But yeah, it seems like that. But really, she should never retire. She should wrestle until she's 90, in my opinion, which is at least 50 years away.
I'm of two minds of it. I think she deserves to relax because like she's the only one of her peer group. Like if you think of like her coming in around the time like Naomi did, the Bellas, Paige, like all the way back. I'm thinking at least 2010.
No, I feel like she was
2009,
like 2006, 2007.
Really?
I'll let you know.
And with Trish and Mickey, like their original.
No, she was on SmackDown. It was right before the Bella Twins debuted, and let me tell you, her WWE debut, 2008.
All of her 2008.
April 4th, 2008.
Yeah. So 15 years. Wait. Did I do that?
Yeah, that's
So it's kind of like in that whole time period, like I said, her peers have come and gone and come back and gone again. You know,
so many peers, like, so many different peers,
and she's obviously been a locker room leader for all of the younger girls. She's been able to like get her hands on a few championships. Of course, I don't think her career has hit where it could have been if she hadn't debuted so early. I think for her, unfortunately, she debuted right before they went into the diva stuff, where it was kind of like they weren't really respecting women's wrestling. It was more about, looks and stuff. And like, it was kind of like, it was like, we got the early 90s, late 2000s, where it's just women in mud pits. We got a little bit of revolution. Until 2006, and then it descended back into kind of like the dark ages from like 2008 to 2013, 14, 15, whatever you want to put it. And then now women's wrestling is just completely different. It's so great. It's perfect for her. Yeah. But it's kind of like I just feel bad for her in a sense that she was like a generation too soon. She was ahead of her time, and the company didn't give her what she needed to really be up there, but he is like,
think about it.
Think
about it, because if you really think about it, I mean, she maybe debuted at the perfect time to the fact that she has such a specific role as this veteran on the roster. 10 years later, and who knows if they would have hired her, because she would have blended in a lot more with the women, and she does have that legacy. She's a third generation. I don't even, because father Jim Neidhart, I don't know even what they call her, whether it's second generation or she's one that's part of the Hart dynasty out of Canada. And so, you know what? I love her career for her, that she's still there. And it feels like Mari, of course, we've seen her and like she is such camp. She is full on camp. She was on Total Divas on the E Network and constantly complaining about her spot backstage. Like, why am I not champion right now? Mark Carano or whoever it was who was like the head of talent relations at the time. And I just love her and the kitty ears, and she is a gem. And, you know, if she wants to retire, she should, but Hall of Fame 100%, regardless of if her career hit that peak that you're kind of talking about, Mari.
Exactly.
I think I need a family tree. So Natalia's part of the Hart dynasty, which I know for a different reason, or dynasty, as I would say.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We did a documentary about a member of that dynasty.
Yes,
Mari.
we did.
Yes,
and
we did.
Teddy Hart, and she is related to him.
Wow.
How, again, it's kind of hard, but her mom is the sister of Bret Hart. Her father, Jim Neidhart, married her mom. Jim Neidhart and Bret Hart were tag team partners. And her grandfather is Stu Hart, the head of the Hart dynasty. So yes, thank you.
We do have a visual of a Microsoft Paint, Paint version of the family tree.
Wow.
And yes, she's married to TJ Wilson, aka Tyson Kidd, father TJ. Jim the Anvil. This is Google the family tree.
So technically her and Teddy, I guess, are cousins because her mom's sister, her mom's sister, her aunt is his mother. Yep. So there you go.
They're cousins.
So they're cousins. Yep.
And I'm sure that they even one, growing up as teens, definitely wrestled or trained together, but also, you know, I think even before she was in WWE, they did a little bit on the indie scene together. Like just that whole generation of folks. Teddy Hart, Natalia, and Harry Smith, who's their other cousin who's somewhere in here, right?
The Hart women really just went all in on like dating other wrestlers
who are like vaguely related to them. Oops.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so you're right, Matt. And I don't know. I hope I'm not saying it like she hasn't had a Hall of Fame career, because she is. She's a complete legend. So I think if she were to retire now, first ballot, put her in the same year she retires. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think she deserves the rest. I think I would love for her husband, TJ Wilson, is a producer behind the scenes. He produces most of the women's matches. And he's really good at it. And I would love for them both to kind of like do that that would be great.
Ooh,
yeah,
you know that you know Mari,
yeah,
that that's either her path or she's going to be training people,
yep,
whatever it is. So
she's so good at from all of the stories you hear about her behind the scenes and how she helps all of the women and how she is just like a rock in that division. It's like she deserves to be paid to not have to, you know, break her back if she doesn't have to. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see.
Wow. That was unexpected.
It was like we had to give our Natalia some love. We got to give the women some flowers sometimes, you know?
Yeah. Especially her though.
Yeah, exactly. So Finn is, let's talk about Finn. Finn is on fire.
I was gonna say
he needs to calm down.
Needs to calm down. And Sarah, I'm very curious from your perspective. See, Finn, yes, throwing a few fists here and there, but he's really been. We saw him jump on
stomping on Seth.
How do you feel about stomping on people?
He did 3 what do they call it? Coup de grace.
Yeah. Stomping, I find, particularly when it's performed so well and is so realistic, and I know that some of it is real. They do get hurt. The stomping I find quite tough because I can imagine. But on the other hand, the elevation that a lot of these wrestlers get. And there was one match we kind of glossed over where there were 2 fairly big men who just kind of smacked each other around. And I thought, it's because they're big. And then we get the Usos, who are also very big, and their fluidity and their flexibility and their loft and everything is gorgeous to see. So I do like this sort of flying Finn stomping around. it gives you a feeling of peril. So I think maybe that's good. Maybe it's good that this stomping adds a very perilous element to it.
Yeah, and because of that, Seth was he was a little injured. He had a
Was he really
an open
injured?
challenge. No. It's all kayfabe. It's all kayfabe.
You see how I got completely drawn in. Oh no, is he not? Is he? Yeah.
No, it was perfect. They all of the thumps.
It occurred to me to ask you, do the wrestler, like if you are, because a lot of them perform being hurt and are in agony and screaming out and crunching their faces up and holding various bits of it, sometimes realistically and sometimes not. Obviously, it's more effective if it looks real. Do they have a way of communicating with each other that it is real, that it needs to stop? Like, do they? Okay. Yeah.
Yep. If a injury happens in ring, you'll see the ref throw up the X's. And
but how does the ref know? I suppose they're close enough to it; they can see it happen.
In the ring, they're constantly being checked on all the time, either by their opponent or by the ref.
Yes, because I don't see whole matches; I just see the highlights. And
So like whenever a big maneuver happens, say somebody jumps on somebody else, right? What'll happen is sometimes the performers themselves, the performer that jumped on the other performer will reach their hand out very discreetly to touch the other person's hand. They'll squeeze back to say that they're good.
Okay, yeah, I love that. I love that.
When sometimes the ref will go up to the ref will go up to them.
Check.
Same thing. Squeeze hand. It's all hand. It's not mouth. It's all like through touches and stuff like that.
Because everything by mouth is the match.
Yeah,
I will stomp you. I hate you. You, yes, you broke my heart. Whatever it is. So you can't also say, "Are you all right?"
I'll send you. I don't know if you want me to, because it kind of breaks the illusion. But there are.
Nope.
Okay, yeah, there are videos out there. There are videos out there that'll show you like when people call spots, when people are checking on people. Like they put compilations together of when they notice that the wrestlers are.
Yeah. One day I'll ask for that, but that day is not today.
Yeah.
So Seth freaking Rollins is injured. He's got his ribs bandaged up in a beautiful white bandage.
But he's supposed to be facing Braun Breaker on NXT for the WWE World Heavyweight title. And at first he was like, he's of no, in not good health, but Braun Breaker promises I'll do something worse to you. Whatever. I truly did like this because it proves that Seth could push through the quote unquote pain. Braun Breaker, pushed him to his limit, but still lost. And we even got Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams woven into the story. So I actually like that they're kind of weaving multiple storylines together, and that once they come apart, it'll still make sense, because Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes have a feud ongoing right now, and it's a smart way to include like getting Seth Rollins on NXT. Made me watch NXT. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense. I love that this whole Finn's like, you took my championship away from me all those years ago. I'm going to make
7
sure
years.
I take this.
I've been waiting for revenge for 7 years. Again, that repetition. Again, that theme. Revenge. Time. I have waited to come back at you. I mean, I love all that. I did. So you sent me the Rollins versus Breaker match, and my only note was just a fantastic match. I mean, this was really breathtaking. I mean, they're both big, but again, that fluidity that I talk about. I don't know if there's another word for it, but that they are flexible, that they are light, they fly, and yet when they smack or hit or crunch, you feel it. You feel these incredible bodies and the craft of these athletes. It was just so thrilling. And for some reason, this series of clips, the commentary booth is getting a huge beating.
Yeah. You have to when it's this heated. Matt, how do you feel about Finn's rage here?
I love it. Because this is my thing. I love the unbridled rage that happens in wrestling, because so often we don't get that.
Yeah, it's just, I want your title.
And then it's not consistent. So one week you're attacking someone and you have 8 people trying to break you up and they can't stop you. And then like the next week, it's basically like, you know, you're cooled off, or you're like able to stand in the ring with that person. I need this to keep going. Or at least someone to separate them. It's hilarious to me that it takes like 8 people to separate them and they're not effective. WWE referees and producers, or whoever's trying to break them up, the security team, has a very specific way of getting in the middle that's not not actually getting in the middle of what's happening. And it's very impressive that they could keep that going for so long. I love it.
Somebody had
looks like they're helping, but not.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yes. It took 3 refs to get Rhea out of the ring that she wasn't supposed to be in, because there were men in there.
Yeah.
3 refs
exactly
come in and get her, and it was like 3 of you. Love it.
Yeah, so good.
So you're saying really... no notes for the people the bystanders, Matt?
I mean, I appreciate the fact that they want it to seem like they're doing something, but it's just sad. I feel like there needs to be a tipping point where if you have like 5 people, even just 5 everyday people who go to break up a fight, they should be able to do it, especially when it's Finn Balor. He's not, I mean, he's very muscular and known for his abs.
But he's not huge. He's not huge. Like some of the other chaps.
Yeah. But I mean, it's that core strength for him, I think, that really does it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What hankies was he wearing at NXT?
He was wearing a white, so he enjoys a white top.
Yeah, still. So we.
Oh, no, he wasn't wearing a hanky. No, he wasn't.
He was wearing a black top.
Yes.
Yes. How do you...
Yeah, no, I got you.
Okay, Maury. Yes.
So
get your head in the game, Maury.
My head is in the game. It's here.
She's trying to steer this ship.
I am. This ship.
It's a submersible, I think, at the moment.
Get your head out of the gutter. Disrespect.
Maury, you're so... I don't know. The way your mind just goes straight to the gutter.
Yeah.
So Sami and KO, we get a little bit of character work here from the tag team champs. Sami says KO needs to control his temper going into their match with he said they need to control their temper, and then they end up in the match with the Judgment Day.
Right.
I think this is funny. Again, we were kind of talking about last week how it feels like right now the tag champs don't have much of a feud going. So as they're still trying to figure out what the feud is going to be, they are giving them this kind of comedic storyline here. Matt, I'm gonna ask you first. What did you think about it feels like we're getting like old school Kevin and Sami shenanigans here?
I'm very fascinated by this. It's what is going on? Like, it's a very specific thing that they're doing where they're like, KO, you need to control your temper, you have anger issues, which to me is an odd thing to say in pro wrestling. Like, I feel like that's like the way it should be, basically. Like, you're supposed to be. So I like this. I like their dynamic, especially since they don't have a proper feud going on, but I don't know where it's leading, or if it's leading anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to just kind of be fun, to be quite honest. Sarah, how did you interpret all of this?
Well, I think it's very amusing that they all carry their hardware around with them all the time. It's like,
why not?
They have to.
You put
You're the champ.
But it's also like part of the storytelling. There's a visual element to that storytelling. We go, champion, belt, 2 belts. I like this bit. It was just very funny. You know, if you don't explode before this time, then everything will be fine. And of course, somebody spills water on him, and another thing, and another thing. I
have to say, it looked like a coffee cup. It looked like a coffee cup. Sami went out of his way to point out that it was cold water and not hot coffee, which typically is the trope.
And also to say, you don't like cold water being spilled on you.
You don't like to be wet.
Because other people do. What I particularly like is they're not quite good enough actors to pull it off, and yet somehow that added to the amusement of the bit. I just thought it was a very funny bit, because we know that he's going to explode at the end.
Exactly.
KO is praised for not having exploded, and he's told that he's now allowed to go and punch people, and he says, "Oh, let's go punch people," and then they go to the match. So I just, this little sort of interlude was really, I don't know, it was sweet, really.
It was very fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the inclusion of Cody Rhodes here. Even with like it's subtle things. Like, so when Cody is stretching, and we know, of course, like the Judgment Day had issued a challenge to Cody earlier, told him to grab 2 people, and Cody's just like working out, and Akira Tozawa comes up and offers his help. I love
with the same haircut.
Yes.
With the same haircut. It was so sweet.
It was so, that was hilarious. It's funny, and it's
funny.
going
and
nowhere.
their size differential made it visually so good.
But the biggest thing is the subtlety of Cody not just being like, "Get out of here, Akira." It was just like, "Oh, thank you so much. I'll keep you posted. Love the hair." Like, it, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't just missing him. Yeah, like it wasn't like he was like, "Why would I choose you?" Like, I love that, because it makes it gives Tozawa his like little moment, and it doesn't feel like they were like Cody was trying to like degrade him as a wrestler, because this is somebody who is lower on the card, who barely gets any camera time or ring time. So the fact that Cody, it's like subconscious, like Cody is nice to the little guys type thing. Yeah. And I love that.
I want that tag team one day. Cody Rhodes and Akira Tozawa, just for the hair.
The bleach blondes.
Yeah. The bleach blondes. Let's go.
So I loved it. And then I also love the whole like, yeah, man, you had our back. We had our back. We got you anytime. So it's kind of like, it makes me like, okay, you're saying this now. So Cody has a reputation of finding himself getting beat up by people a lot. So it's like, will you guys help him the next time he gets beat up? Because something tells me it's going to be pretty soon. We'll probably talk about that in our preview podcast later this week. So I loved all of this. Like, if you're not going to give the tag team champions like a feud for the titles, which can be stale anyways, I love that you're giving them time to build up a storyline. And Sami and KO are really good at tag team dynamics, and this feels like one, it's like, instead of just going goofy man, straight man, it's straight man and raged man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different dynamic, and they've known each other for over 20 years in real life. They've been tag partners on and off in that time, so they would know what to do to get some screen time. And so I am definitely looking forward to what else they have going on. Totally. So yeah. So let's keep going. I'm trying to decide if we should take an ad break or not.
No, you don't need any ad breaks. And you know what? Here's what I'm gonna say. For the rest of the show, no more ad breaks, because we love you, the listeners, and we do what we want, right, Mari?
But there might be some products and services that the listeners would be very eager to hear about.
And we need to pay the bills.
We do need to pay the bills.
And so with that, quick ad break. All right, we're back. Okay.
I really hope we just took an ad break, because we need to pay the bills.
That would be very, that'd be very awkward if we did it. So let's bring it all home here with with Sarah's favorite, Ron Darousey.
Ron Darousey, yes.
The women's tag team titles have officially been unified. We talked about it last week. I could have sworn, Matt, am I crazy? We thought this was going to happen on Money in the Bank. Ron Darousey and Shayna Baszler faced off against Ila Dawn and Alba Fire to unify the NXT women's tag team titles and the WWE women's tag team titles. I am confusion.
Why didn't it happen on Money in the Bank?
Yeah, exactly.
They could have built to it a little bit more, but we just had last week, and that was pretty much it. No build.
Maybe I need to go back, because I was like, I for sure thought they said Money in the Bank, and so when they came out, I was like, at first I thought they were just gonna do like, you know how they do like the one person from the team, and they're like, oh, building up, and then they were like, no, they're both out there, and it's for the belts. I was like, what?
I know, I was so thrown off by that.
But then I think it all clicked, because Raquel was at ringside. I was like, why is Raquel here? And of course, by the end of the match and the segment, it all made sense. So Ronda and Shayna put away Ela Dawn and Alba Fire. Ela Dawn had some great offense in this match. It was a pretty good match, but it wasn't much of a surprise how it ended. And Raquel kind of confronts them, and Liv Morgan comes back. Liv is back from injury, so that was nice. That was pleasant, unexpected. Sarah, what did you think about this?
Well, I liked that that the team with the belts had dressed to match the belts. That I just adored. So the belts they have are white and gold, and they were dressed in white and gold, and I loved it. I love the athleticism. I keep using the same two words, but
it's fine.
For me, these are the words that they are so good at this level. Like so good. And I love seeing when all four of them were in the ring and three of them are around about the same size. And Raquel is tall. I don't know how tall she is compared to, say, me or Matt, but she is very tall compared to these three women. And I love that sort of visual. And I love the idea that wrestling plays with just because someone's bigger or taller or whatever.
Yeah.
The smaller person is not necessarily going to always be pinned or be beaten. So I liked the story, as I mentioned earlier, the title we never lost. The title we never lost. It has that kind of storybook idea. The one who was chosen, the title we never lost.
You know what? You know what? Let me call this out right now because I'm getting really fired up. They didn't lose the championship because Liv was what happened? Wait, what happened?
Liv got injured.
Liv got injured.
Her shoulder, so they had to give up the belts, and then they had that really rushed kind of like tournament for it.
Yes. So could we also just bring up the fact that our girl Lita, former WWE Women's Champion, Hall of Fame, she literally didn't lose the championships either. This is a whole other thing, Sarah. But just like there have been these championships. The tag championships have changed hands many times, and in the last few months, and for whatever reason, they have a habit of like not having at least one of the champions actually lose it. So they're playing hard and fast with these rules. But justice.
So you want an actual match where there's actual winners and actual losers for once?
That novel.
Is that too much? Is that too much to ask for? Is that too much to ask for?
I just want some order.
Have I been calling Raquel? Have I been saying Raquel Gonzalez this whole time? I just realized.
Have you really?
That was
her name. That used to be her name.
Rodriguez. Her name is
I know it's Rodriguez, but it used to be Raquel Gonzalez.
And honestly, it's not like either of them on her. Neither is her real name, Mari.
Yeah, neither is her real. Yeah,
neither of those are her real name.
But either way,
guys.
My thought process is, I guess maybe we'll get them at Money in the Bank. I guess we'll figure that out. But yeah, that sucked. I'm mad that they weren't on the PLE. Like I'm sick and tired of the women's tag belts not getting respect. Because of course, friend of the pod, Shayna Baszler, is holding one of those belts. I'm just so mad, But anyways, I hope that we get Liv and Raquel versus Ronda and Shayna at Money in the Bank. Maybe that's why they sacrificed this here. Because Liv's comeback was a surprise, Sarah. We didn't know that she was healed. And so maybe
mishear because I thought they said they were going to. I thought that very match that you just asked for is happening at Money in the Bank.
Is it?
Did I make that up?
I assume.
I'm pretty sure in the sort of pretend backstage interviewee thing, they were talking. Liv and Raquel were talking about that match. I'd have to go back and look again.
Well, and they will get it. I don't know if they said exactly when.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, that might be why. Okay,
I mean, and obviously,
well, it has to happen. If they've asked for it, it has to happen. Surely.
I was gonna say it's hard to keep track of because we know it's going to happen. So, but who knows if it'll happen at Money in the Bank at this point. Maybe WWE hasn't decided, as
That's
we
right.
know.
Yeah, exactly.
With,
yeah.
you know,
Maybe
we were
there'll be a
talking
last
about
minute phone call.
exactly. Bailey and Shotzi was moved, and maybe this one will be moved to a random SmackDown after Money in the Bank. We'll see. Sigh.
Yeah, so yeah, it probably will be made official at least this week. They have a whole week to figure out. So I'm trying to look it up right now. It doesn't. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see if it happens.
We'll see. Let me know.
Yeah.
Keep me abreast.
We'll let you know.
And yeah, we'll do. And finally, just a quick little note: Tommaso Ciampa returned. Tommaso Ciampa returned.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Sure. It's funny with these pronunciations. I'm just like,
I know.
yes, both of them. Ciampa. Yes. But
Ciampa.
what a beard.
Yeah, love the beard. Love that he came. I love that he came out to the Miz, and the Miz thought it was all good. It's not all good, Miz. It's not all good.
Miz looked so betrayed. It was fantastic. It wasn't a glancing moment of betrayal. It was a full 10 minutes of him touching his cheek lightly where he'd been smacked, and had the big eyes of betrayal looking up. Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah, and it's just strange because they were like, how long were they actually together on screen, Mari? Like 2 months, 3 months?
Was it only that? I felt like it was
been 9 months and he didn't text.
Oh,
Yeah.
since he was injured and now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while. But I wonder how long they were actually a team. It didn't feel like it was all that long or established, but I do remember it.
They were like, because Ciampa was in his corner when Miz had the Logan Paul match, I believe.
They were,
Yeah.
but they weren't like really established. I'd say they didn't win any championships. They didn't do anything revolutionary.
No,
right?
because I think this is the second time Ciampa had gotten injured on because remember, like he Miz brought him up kind of like his mentor, his mentee. I think Ciampa got injured, so Miz moved on to the feud with Dexter Lumis.
Yeah.
Ciampa came back, I think, to dispatch Dexter Lumis and the Miz and Johnny Gargano. That sounds kind of familiar. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Johnny got injured.
Lots
and
of
then
injuries.
Ciampa got injured. Yeah, if I
Right.
want to, yeah.
It's
Something
lacking
like
the
that.
momentum.
It's been so long. But I get it. Matt does not care. I care that Tommaso is back. I am certified Ciampa fan.
Okay, no,
You're
I'm jumping in here.
champing?
Ciampa stan. I am here just to say I am a fan of Ciampa. I want him to. It's similar to like the Natalia conversation because Tommaso Ciampa has been a wrestler for probably 20 years at this point.
Yeah,
he's a veteran, and injuries are always unfortunate. They happen, and I want to see him like full force. Like this, Ciampa could be a world champion in my opinion.
Yeah,
he has the charisma and the mic skills and everything else, and so I just want more.
He had one of the greatest like NXT title runs ever. Like, Sarah, this man turned on his best friend to the point where he used to come out with no music and just the crowd booing him. Like that was
imagine
love
that.
It. I can imagine. See, I can imagine it because that is someone you are relishing disliking, and there's an enjoyment there. What I liked about this match was it was the very classic little undies look for both men. Because there's a lot of costuming and hair and makeup and wonderful stuff throughout, and then the last clip was just the very classic two men in little undies going at it. Oh, I loved it.
Yeah,
that's wrestling.
That's wrestling. That's wrestling with an A.
All right.
Wrestling.
Any last minute comments about the week before we wrap up? I'll start with you, Matt. Anything else you want to touch on before we go?
What a week. That's all I've got. And also, like, I'm excited to get into Money in the Bank. Obviously,
preview.
I'll bring it soon. We'll plug it in a minute, the preview show and all. But it's Money in the Bank is a fun pay-per-view, and it is gonna be interesting and exciting. And maybe Mari, we will be watching it. Maybe we'll be watching it in person together. Hopefully, I'm planning on it.
Wow.
So We'll keep folks updated on that. But yes, exciting times. I love this show. Anything that jumped out to me from the week? I mean, I'm just thinking Trish Stratus.
Thank you, Trish.
How amazing she is. And like, just to put it out there, I was impressed seeing Lita in her later 40s returning and wrestling so much last year when we saw her return. Trish, 47 years old, I believe. Yep. And just like, it's so notable because the women in WWE used to hit 30 and they'd be like, okay, time for you to retire. And so I love that Trish is shining so much more than, well, most people, but also any man or woman at that age. Not that it's old. She's amazing. Right. I love her.
Love her. Yeah. Sarah, how about you? Any takeaways from the week before we go?
Oh, just thank you so much for having me on. Thank you so much for showing me all these clips. I really enjoyed them. I was surprised at my growing knowledge, and I was, I saw a few moves I hadn't seen before. There was one where Dom was against the corner on the floor, slightly exhausted, and someone just threw themselves backwards into him, and I thought, oh, I haven't seen that before. So I like picking up the stories that sort of a little bit like a soap opera. I haven't watched since January, but not a lot has moved. They move forward glacially, and then there'll be a huge twist or something. But again, like the repetition, you are told you can pick it up. I keep going back to this, the performers, the commentators, the storytellers bring us with them, whether we're a casual or a huge fan. Yeah. So thank you.
Honestly, that is always my main like praise of WWE is WWE makes it accessible to fans that don't have a wrestling background. People out there who don't like, there are people out there who don't like that. It's like wrestling gatekeeping. They don't like, they're like, oh, I don't have to be spoon fed things. It's like, no, you don't. But there are people out there that do. Like,
exactly.
WWE just makes it so much easier than some of these other wrestling companies to just jump in randomly, get what you need,
but
jump out, jump back in.
It's not dumbed down.
No.
So they just stop gatekeeping. Stop it. Stop gatekeeping anything.
I mean, they're smart. Like it's for people when you're flipping the channels, you could stop on WWE and like kind of follow what's going on, even if you have no clue what you're actually watching.
They give it to you. They give you the story. You're drawn in by the athleticism, the fluidity, and the storytelling. Those are my 3 words of the night.
Ooh.
Yeah.
3 words of the night.
All right. So Sarah, wait. That's it for the highlights of the week. Again, everything that we just talked about can be found in our playlist, our highlights playlist, either in your show notes or show description. Thank you for joining us. Watch along or just listen to us. Sarah, where can the people find you?
If they would like to follow me, I am on Twitter at Sarah Carradine. And every week on the RHAP network, which we're on right now, I co-host a true crime review podcast called Crime Scene with the great Murray Forth. We have a fantastic episode up now called Rodman's Stolen Millions, which we recorded with Chappelle, and a fantastic, although tough and sad episode coming up called Take Care of Maya with the great Jason Reed. So find us over there, Crime Scene SEEN, for all your crime scene needs.
Yes. Matt, how about you? Where can people find you?
People could find me, Mari, here on the Wrestling RHAPup, of course, but also on the Pride Has Spoken, talking with and celebrating queer Survivor players. And I think it's just been really interesting and awesome this season. Me and the one and only Grace Leader, aka Stella Skews You, is my I'd say my co-conspirator in the interviews, along with Dr. Evie Jagoda, who's part of each and every episode. And I just love that series, talking with people not only about their experience on the show Survivor, but really about their lives. This week we were talking with Missy Bird, who is definitely like a controversial person in the Survivor world, and we went there and we went there, but also we were talking about pasties and pastries, which I think wrestling fans probably also like pastries and pasties. So, you know, that was an interesting one. Check that out. RHAPHasAwebsite.com/pride feed. Get your Pride Has Spoken shirts at the shop on RHAPHasAwebsite.com/pride shirt. And that's the big stuff, I'd say, for now. But you should always go back, subscribe to my other show, Pod Friends, interviewing Mari, interviewing Sarah. Mari, our interview is ancient at this point.
It is.
And a year and a half ago. But it's still awesome to check out and learn more about the people in this Rob Has a Podcast Network universe at RHAPHasAwebsite.com/podfriends feed. But Mari, and other than people following me at Matt Scott GW, that's enough about me. Where could the people find you?
Of course, everybody can find me on Twitter at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2. You can all follow me on at twitch.tv/Mari Talks Too Much as well. You guys have plugged everything I do, except for, let's say, I was just on a Big Brother special edition episode.
Yes, you were.
It is the Big Brother off season, and so RHAP is doing some special draft episodes, and I just did the twist draft with Taryn, Brian Scally, and Maggie. Go check it out, and then go vote for me. Go vote
Mari,
for my table.
No, you had the best table. You had the best table by far. Like, and I saw the last time I checked, when I went to vote for you, you were in the lead for good reason. And if you don't win, I'm gonna have some
rigmarole.
We're gonna riot.
Exactly. So definitely go check that out. That was so much fun. You can find that on the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube page and in the reality TV feeds, reality TV RHAPup's feed. Yes, Sarah.
I was just going to say, can I tease something to come?
Yes,
there's a very intriguing Wrestling RHAPup crime scene mishmash mush coming soon, where the 3 of us will be speaking again in a different context. So keep your ears pricked for that. Yes,
of course. And again, if you haven't, go to RHAPHasAwebsite.com/wrestling feed to subscribe. That really helps. You can send any long form questions to wrestling@RHAPHasAwebsite.com. You can also add us on Twitter at Wrestling RHAPup. That's at Wrestling RHAPUP. On Twitter, use hashtag Wrestling RHAPup to join the conversation. Again, thank you and big shout outs to the unofficial official Facebook group Job Has a Squadcast. Again, thank you guys for your love and support and all of your comments and all of your questions. We love connecting with everybody in there. If you want to join that, just reach out to me and Matt and we'll get you in there. And finally, anytime is a great time to join the RHAP Patreon. You can go to www.patreon.com/RHAP to become a RHAP patron, where you get exclusive access to different podcasts, patron 5 for 5s, and Q&As. So yeah, do it. What's stopping you? Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Sarah. And remember, wrestling is for everybody, but not all wrestling is for everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party. Moolah Ric Flair, showing out like Bianca Belair, Best podcast, flush it in the air, Roman Reigns and we win it, don't care, No cap. Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party.